welcome in Roch Kubatko, our colleague from MASNsports.com. You can check out his blog, School of Roch. And we saw Robert Andino starting at shortstop. We know J.J. Hardy has a strained left oblique. What is the latest?
Right. They're not going to have a roster move today, but we're told that Hardy will go on the DL either tomorrow or early Tuesday at the latest. And, he's devastated by this. He's been diagnosed with a strained oblique muscle. He's going to have an MRI tomorrow, but it's obvious that he's going on the DL. You can't spell strained oblique without a D and an L. I mean, it's just inevitable. You get sidelined.
You write that on your own?
I really did, yes.
Wow.
No, this is all ad-libbing.
Impressive.
But he's going to have the MRI, but he's really upset about it. There's not one particular swing that brought this on. He just felt it gradually, was scratched from the lineup on Thursday. And what's weird is he felt the pain more in his lower left rib cage Thursday. Now he said it's more toward his back. He assumes it's all part of the oblique. I'm not a doctor. He's not a doctor. Yeah. He's never had the injury. Maybe that's why they're having the MRI. But he will go on the DL, and they could bring up Brad Bergeson to make a start in New York Tuesday or Wednesday, because if you're optioned, you don't have to stay down 10 days if you're replacing a player on the DL. So that is one move that could happen. And now, I've got a cheat sheet with me.
Yeah, this is a long list of injuries
it's
for
ridiculous.
the Orioles. Not a good start as far as the injury bug is concerned.
For a 6-2 team, that's what's really strange. Well, and I'm not even going to look at it. I've got it memorized, yes. Brian Mattis back, Luke Scott groin, Jeremy Guthrie pneumonia, Brian Roberts had the stomach ailment, had to go to the hospital and have tests. J.J. Hardy oblique. Don't forget Justin Dukeshire had the ablation on his lower back. We may or may not see him April 21st. So it's just bizarre that a 6-2 team has had this kind of issues every single day, it seems.
Well, it's been next man up for them. Moving on to behind the plate. Matt Wieters didn't play in Game 2 yesterday. When he's out of the game, do we see that the pitchers do miss him and how good he has been as a defensive catcher in calling games this year?
We definitely see. Maybe it's unfair to the people that follow him, but absolutely. He's become one of the best defensive catchers in baseball. We're still waiting for him to have that big breakout offensive season. But defensively, his arm, the way he calls the game, the way he guides these young starters through their starts, really impressive. And you'll notice Buck Showalter brings up his name after every quality start, the way that Matt and the pitcher were on the same page. And he said that yesterday with Zach Britton, that they were working so well together and that Matt seems to guide him through the starts, puts down the right fingers all the time. They trust him. By contrast, Jake Arrieta, we noted this. You could read between the lines. Buck said Jake had great stuff last night, but then he talked about the pitch sequence, which is more the catcher's responsibility. And one example, Mitch Moreland gets ahead 3-1 in the count. Jake throws back-to-back curveballs, ends up walking them, loads of bases with no outs. It's a big inning. And I think Buck was unhappy with that sequence. He mentioned there are some other examples as well. Jake even said he started getting fastball, breaking ball, fastball, breaking ball. He fell into a pattern. And a good hitting team like the Rangers are going to take advantage of that. I know the Orioles would like to have Craig Tatum be the primary backup because of his experience behind the plate and free up Jake Fox, whose strength is his versatility along with his bat, to move around more. So we could be seeing Craig Tatum come up fairly soon, if not in the J.J. Hardy transaction, sooner after that. And again, it's not a knock necessarily on Jake Fox, but he doesn't have as much experience behind the plate, and I just think Tatum brings more to the table as a full-time primary backup catcher, and Jake can then move around.
And it would give Buck Showalter some flexibility if he did have that third catcher, as far as situations like today where you have Matt Wieters behind the plate and you have your backup catcher in the outfield. I remember in the press conference before the game, Buck was asked, who's your emergency catcher? He really didn't answer the question.
Yeah, he said, I don't think I've told him yet. It would have been Rick Vandenherk if he'd made the club, because he used to do some catching. So there is a third guy out there. We don't know who it is. I don't really know if Buck knows who it is at this point, but he's going to need a third guy.
As long as it's not you or I, we're doing good.
Right.
As far as Zach Britton is, because Dempsey's available. He's waving over there. He is available. I don't know if the knees are as good as they used to be, though. Zach Britton looked very relaxed yesterday. What did we learn about his poise as a rookie?
Yeah, it's interesting. The kid who had all those jitters in Clearwater now is just cool, as calm as a cucumber. Or if a cucumber can be calm, I know it can be cool. But what's interesting.
All vegetables are pretty calm.
I think they are, actually. They never stir up anything in the salad. But it's interesting. He reminds me so much of Brian Madison, that both of those guys, they don't believe in that whole unwritten rule, don't talk to the starting pitcher the day that he's pitching. Brian used to joke with us last year, why aren't you saying hello? Why are you walking by me? And I'd sheepishly say, because you're starting, I'm not allowed to talk to you. He'd go, oh, no, talk to me anyway, don't worry about it. Zach did the same thing yesterday. I was checking with a reporter who was kind of talking to him and like, should you be doing that? And Zach waved me off and said, don't worry about it. I like that. I don't want to be ignored. It'll make me think too much about what I'm about to do. It'll make me nervous. Treat me the same way. Before you knew it, Zach and I were talking about Twitter, of all things. things because I've been dragged into the Twitter world at MASNRoch. Thank you, over 2,200 followers. And
getting that shameless plug.
And Zach's talking about maybe he's going to join it and maybe keep like a diary going of his first major league season. Did I think that was a good idea? And I'm sitting there talking to Zach thinking, in a couple hours, you're going to take the field against the Texas Rangers. We're talking about Twitter, but that's what he wants. So I guarantee you, if Zach's got a perfect game or no-hitter going and everybody's on one end of the dugout, he's going to go join him because he wants everything to be the same. Don't treat me differently just because I'm starting.
All right, Roch Kubatko, you can check him out on MASNsports.com, also on Twitter, but he already got that one in. Thanks so much. All right, good to see you again,
I know you're
Roch.
used to being around babies, so this is a seamless transition for you.
Yeah, it's very easy. I'm
and
used
women
to
always
dealing
try
with
and change me, so it's fine.
All right, Roch Kubatko, thanks so much.